Yeah.
Right.
Cardinal way.
Don't let him talk to Dexter Fowler, though.
Yeah.
Keep him far, far away from him.
That signing didn't really work
But it's
out.
like, I think a lot is they're banking on that, because I think with what they gave away in Luke Weaver, who was one time a big-time prospect, no, he didn't have a good numbers last year, 130 innings pitched, 4.66 ERA, but you look at his peripherals, they're a bit better than that. You know, Carson Kelly is a catcher. Like, Yadier Molina is not getting younger. You know, this was the guy who was going to more or less take his spot.
Right.
He's gone. The Cardinals are starving for pitching.
Weaver was going to be in the rotation.
You know, so it's like they have Miles Michaelis.
Michaelis.
You know,
Adam Wainwright.
They
How old is he?
I think he is 39,000 years old right now. So
39.
But you said it, like, Wainwright's done.
Yeah.
Carlos Martinez hasn't
he's regressed.
Really been that guy.
Yeah, they thought he was going to be like the next Wainwright.
Right. And he hasn't. Now, I'm not saying he's bad. Like, what I say about Luke Weaver, like, his numbers weren't great, but his peripherals look good. It's kind of like with Martinez, but Martinez was supposed to be on a whole other echelon.
Right.
You know?
And they had, sad note, they had Reyes pass away.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the top pitching prospect of theirs.
No, Reyes is still there. They had, not the pitching. It was,
who was
the outfielder? It was, oh God, how do I forget his name now? As of Pete Rose. Names elude me. The Dominican number one overall prospect. Oh God.
Oscar Taveras.
Yeah.
Why was I thinking Reyes?
Reyes is still there.
Okay.
But who knows what Reyes is going to be?
Right.
You know, like, he is just a prospect. So, I mean, there's definitely worries about the rotation. There's definitely worries about that bullpen.
And Weaver was pretty much going to be in the rotation. That's what makes it.
Right.
I mean, he could plug in probably to the.
So it's like if he doesn't
to Diamondbacks rotation.
If he doesn't resign,
it just cracks me up because
looking too good next year.
Right.
So yeah.
Long term, it doesn't look good if they don't resign him. But here's the thing to me, now if they try to resign him before he hits free agency, but my thing is, well, if he was going to re-up, he probably would have just re-upped with the Diamondbacks beforehand. I think he wants to hit free agency. Well, why wouldn't you want to re-up with him?
I don't know.
The other thing is,
maybe they didn't offer him a good enough contract.
The Cardinals, I mean, pretty much at the same age, same performance. Probably, I mean, Pujols was Pujols. He was unbelievable. They didn't sign him to a long-term deal. They let him walk, which was the right decision. Pujols goes to the Angels, gets a big deal.
Which is crazy to think about that time, too.
Now he's like a negative WAR player.
Pujols,
and
you're looking at
right
when he was hitting free agency.
He was unbelievable.
Because we talk about Goldschmidt right now.
He was coming off an MVP
Goldschmidt's one of the better
season.
players in MLB, right?
Right.
Pujols was head over shoulders on what Goldschmidt is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they didn't re-sign him, and it's like, look what happened. So that's the one thing about just players in general, when they're that old, they can just lose it.
Yeah. And Pujols did. and the Angels are paying him a lot of money to
paying a lot of players like that
under replacement level pretty much player at this point. So that's what I mean. They didn't sign Pujols, which was correct. Are they really going to go out and re-up Paul Goldschmidt at 31 years old, 32, whatever? So it's weird. And if they don't sign him, like I said, will the Cardinals be better this year with him?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if their pitching holds up.
But let's be honest, too. I don't look at this like they got Goldschmidt now. They're in the playoffs.
Right.
They're still the Brewers.
Right.
They're still the Cubs.
But in 3 years, if they don't have them, are they better? No.
Right.
They're worse.
Yep.
So it's like a silver lining. The NL Central is going to be tough. I mean, what else is new? I mean, the Brewers won it last year. The Cubs were a wild card team. And I don't know, the Cubs are still there. The Brewers, I don't know. I think the Brewers will kind of fall back to earth a little bit. But, yeah, it's like now the Cardinals got Goldschmidt. So it's going to be tough, but nothing else is new there.
I don't hate the deal for either side. Because it is Paul Goldschmidt. I don't hate the deal for either side, but there are definitely, it's not as if a lot of people are freaking out like this, the Cardinals got Goldschmidt. I'm not freaking out over it. I'd rather them not have him, obviously.
They went for it,
but it's they still need things.
Right.
This isn't the Cardinals got Goldschmidt. It's over for the NL Central. Not at all.
Well, they need things.
They still need to fight for the playoffs right now. So,
update.
Let's also see what happens.
North Shore 9 has a 93% chance to win over Jonesy.
Nobody cares.
Goff has him negative 2.28 points.
That's very good.
I'm going to be roasting him tonight on Twitter. All right, we done with Goldschmidt?
Yeah.
So, kind of the final note, kind of sucks to end on the sad note. And speaking of Oscar Taveras, because wasn't that a car wreck?
Yeah.
So, we see a lot of these Latin American players, die in car wrecks and things like that. The Dominican, and we've heard a million things. The roads aren't the roads aren't good. The cars are beat up. They're old cars that they're driving and things like that, or whatever. Story comes out this week. Luis Valbuena and Jose Castillo, former Pirate, killed in a car wreck in Venezuela. And you're thinking, another car wreck, Venezuela, okay, like, oh my God, 2 of them. And then it comes out that, did you see this story? It's like, so Venezuela is a disaster right now. It is a mess.
That's why, when you see, Francisco Cervelli posting the stuff he does, and
Miguel Cabrera.
This is serious down there.
So these robbers, gang members, I don't know what you want to call them, they'll set up roadblocks to, get people to crash or get people to stop. So you stop at whatever, something's coming up ahead. And then they rob them. So they set up some roadblock on a highway or something. Jose Castillo and Valbuena are in a car. They crash into the roadblock and killed.
Yep.
So, these guys are, 30 years old? I think Valbuena was still playing.
Well,
Castillo
had
retired.
Angels last year. They let him go last year, but, he was in MLB as of last year.
Right, and obviously Castillo wasn't.
Castillo never officially retired. I didn't know that, but...
Well, he was playing. Yeah, he was playing. I think MLB. In probably the winter leagues or whatever. But Jose Castillo. I remember him as the Pirates, second baseman, back in 07, 08. It just had a little bit of power. Yeah, it was the dark times for the Pirates. So. Jose Castillo, but he was on there from basically 04 to 07, went to the Giants, finished up with the Astros. Actually finished up in 08, so I don't know if he was still playing in the winter leagues, but let me look this up here. Yeah, he was. He was actually playing in Venezuela. He's been playing in Venezuela since 2016-17, so I'm sure he knew, a lot of what was going on there and everything. And we've seen it with, Miguel Cabrera's come out and said, I'm tired of paying for protection. Like he needs to pay for protection for his family down there.
Hit home again, like Diaz and his mom.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff that's happening, down there.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah. She was kidding. That was last offseason.
Of course, Mark Madden makes light of it, but because he's a jerk. But anyways, this is real shit going on.
Wasn't that last offseason?
It was.
Yeah. So.
February, I think. February,
Diaz's mom was kidnapped, and I don't know held for ransom or whatever. Thankfully, she was returned, and it's like Cabrera said the same. He said it many a times, and it's crazy because people say why did they go back? And it's like Castillo was there playing baseball, trying to make a living. Like he was out of baseball since 08, out of MLB since 08. He's back there. Valbuena, like you said, still in the majors, but he was let go. Their family's probably still there. It's like, home. How do you not? Yeah, it's still home. And
why am I
these
here
guys
in Newcastle
gotta worry about this. So
it's still home.
I saw tweets. They need to get rid of organized baseball. Needs to pull out of Venezuela, and we talked about it with scouts and stuff still going down there. Some teams do it, some teams don't. It's crazy. It's I don't know. I don't know. You hate to say, well, just pull organized baseball out and don't. MLB shouldn't go down there and get any of their players. But then, what about players like Miguel Cabrera and players like Castillo and Valbuena that, were in the majors and you're changing their lives and, with it's baseball and everything.
It's just messed up. The economy there, everything. Oh, man.
Yeah, so that was a shocking story that came out, and especially it hit home with the former Pirate there. But, yeah, it's I don't know, man. We ain't going to Venezuela if the winter meetings are over there.
Yeah,
I know that,
but it really is though too. It's sad to see. This happens every offseason too. We're talking about this one. You already brought up about Tavares, and it's like Yordano Ventura happened to him as well.
Yep.
Those were different. Like those were actual car crashes.
Yeah, there was a couple. There's been a lot in the Dominican too, like car.
And then
car
last
crashes,
year, around the 412 brothers up when I was on the show yesterday too. I forget the name too. I should look it up. But there was like a Reds minor leaguer that it happened to last year as well.
And there was actually with Castillo and Valbuena, there was a third player. There was I think he's in the minors. He was in the car too, but he survived.
No, I think he was older as well. Actually, he was like a retired.
Okay.
But Cincinnati. Oh, Jairo Capeon.
Okay.
6'8" pitcher, signed with him in 2017. He was 19. But
this was the one in the car.
You see this like so often. And
Too often, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, because somebody, I think, when the Dominican ones happen, I don't know if we tweeted something out or just kind of like threw out like, why is this happening? Like, what? And somebody, the road conditions, the cars, like a lot of the, I don't know, older American cars or something end up down there. So you got these old junker cars or whatever, and they're just people are driving around. So it's probably.
I think Ventura was driving like a Range Rover.
Well, not that, but I'm saying like, yeah, this is obviously different than the Dominican ones. Like those were just car wrecks or whatever. But the stuff in Venezuela when you got a roadblock up, which I don't even know I don't know what the heck was set up or whatever. When you hear this story and it's like, well, they're gonna even if they don't wreck, they're gonna rob them or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy, and it's like so. I don't know. I can't imagine, what's going on down there and how the situation is, but it sucks to hear that story come out and lose, obviously the former Pirate in Castillo and then Valbuena, who was playing in the majors last year.
Andy Marte. That was the other one.
Oh, yeah. Which was the former,
there you go.
Pirate in Indian. Mm-hmm. He was there for a while. Was that Dominican for Marte?
Yeah, because that was like the same day, him in Ventura.
Oh, there's been so many. There's been so many. It's probably 20, 30 people just car wrecks and stuff.
Yep.
But then you hear this with Venezuela. I don't know. Like you think Miguel Cabrera. I mean, Miguel Cabrera is making $30 million a year, but I don't even think he can bring his whole family up, and then he's playing for protection. I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
So I don't know, but that obviously.
Yep.
We just wanted to bring that up because it was the former Pirate and everything and story around baseball. But that is all I got, DiNardo. We didn't really. I kind of sort of teased it on Thursday. Do you want to talk about the live show?
Yeah, for sure. Listen,
while you're in town,
everybody we had the link out there on Twitter, but hit us up twitch.tv/North Shore 9.
Download the Twitch app.
If you don't have Twitch, sign up. And the reason I say it too is because that's how you can definitely interact with us. That's the point of the show. We want to interact more with you guys. I mean, it's one thing, and it's great having this podcast. But it's like, okay, great, we talk, and now you guys have to listen. So the point of this is like we get to interact with you. You guys can be part of the show. We can interact, bring it up that way. So I mean, if you don't have Twitch, sign up, follow us. We will have the show almost like how we did Facebook Friday. We're going to put the show up on our page afterwards, so you can watch it if you want after the fact. But, of course, the point is come on live and join us. But regardless, so we are going to give away something that night. So if you follow us and you're watching, we're going to give away something to whomever is doing it at that point in time. But once we also hit 50 follows, then we're going to give something else away, much bigger scale. So do it. Come follow. This Thursday, 10 p.m., the link's out there.
Yeah, and like you said, it's we did the Facebook thing last year because it was kind of the only avenue we kind of had.
And it was fun. I mean, interactions was there. It was fun, but it's also Facebook.
Right. And so we're trying to move away from that, and Twitch is where it's at, as you say. It is lit.
When you see AF. What this looks like, especially opposed to what Facebook Friday was, this is going to look so legit.
Right, and this Thursday, obviously, we'll be together because you're in town still.
And it will look, but it's going to look a little different.
Right.
This Thursday also
the second week, we'll be on separate screens and everything. But, yeah, it'll be lit. It's going to be good. So come on out. We'll be talking, I think, some Christmas movies.
So, yeah, every week we want to do something where we have, you guys pick a topic, maybe, rankings or stuff. And, of course, with the holiday season. So we're going to rank the top 10 Christmas movies. So call us out on how much trash our picks are.
I got a question about that. Are we counting things like
Maybe
Rudolph
it's cold outside? What?
Say, what's in this drink? Are we counting things like
Yeah.
Rudolph and